Okay, so herkese iyi akşamlar. Dersimize hoş geldiniz. Şimdi başlıyoruz. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to our lesson. We are starting now. Bugün ne yapacağız? What will we do today? Bugün potential mood hakkında konuşacağız. Today we will talk about the potential mood. And what is a potential mood? Simply the ability and possibility, both of them. First, I will explain how Turkish uses this suffix, and you know Turkish uses suffix. We don't have can or may as a separate word. We have suffixes, and we attach them to our verbs. Anyway, and then the regular members should notice that the lines of Turkish is in the second section this time. Usually it goes at the end. This is because this mood is very tricky to understand, and there's something I need to explain before we talk about the negatives. That's what I put it right after the potential, the explanation. And when I explain how it works in the positive form, we will go into the negative forms. That's the fun begins. That's where the fun begins because it's very tricky. I will try to keep it simple for everyone. And then we will talk about potential mood in different tenses. That will be like a quick look on all the tenses. We will not spend much time on it. But anyway, so what is the potential mood? As I said in the previous slide before, it is about the potential, like ability and possibility, when there's a potential for something to happen, or simply when you're able to do something. And in Turkish we only have one suffix for this, and it's the abil suffix. As you can see here, we have abil suffix. And this should be convenient for you to remember because, ability and then abil. But in Turkish, of course, the pronunciation is very straightforward, like abil. And what is this uppercase A here? Why does it not like lowercase? Because this is two-way vowel harmony. Like this can be abil with a, or it can be ebil with e. So let's write the other vowel harmony types here. For example, this can be either abil or ebil. You can see them here, abil or ebil. Only the first part changes. The second part, even if it's a, this is against the vowel harmony rules, but it's just how it works. It's the rule itself, abil or ebil. Okay, so now we know the suffix, but how do we put it on our verbs and how do we make a conjugation? To give you an idea, I will make a quick small table with several verbs, but first let's start with this table for all the pronouns for this görmek verb. Görmek means to see. When you see something, we say görmek. And this is the root order or the suffix order. The verb stem, that's the root. And then we have the potential suffix abil. And then the tense, we will be using the or continuous past tense in our examples. And at the end, we will talk about how to use them in different tenses. And then the person. These are called tense and person markers. They tell us in which time something happens and who does the action. So ben görebiliyorum. Ben görebiliyorum. I can see it. I can see something. Sen, you görebiliyorsun. You can see it. O görebiliyor. He, she, it görebiliyor. He, she, it can see it. Biz görebiliyoruz. We can see it. Siz görebiliyorsunuz. You guys, or when you need to show respect, like saying sir or madam, whatever. Siz görebiliyorsunuz. Onlar görebiliyorlar. They can see it. So that's the basic rule, that's the basic principle on using this potential suffix. And let me show you a different table with different verbs, but the same pronoun this time, just I am or I can. So görebiliyorum, I can see it. Bakabiliyorum, I can look. Sorabiliyorum, I can ask. Yazabiliyorum, I can write. Duyabiliyorum, I can hear. So what you need to do here is memorizing these verb stems. You need to expand your vocabulary. You need to learn nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and verbs. When you know the verb, you need to remove the infinitive and then get the root of it. Then you can start adding your suffixes. Okay? So if this is scary for you, especially for beginners, we will do a quick practice part. I will give you time, I will give you different verbs, and then you will be able to type your answers. But while you are typing, please use spoilers. This way, other people will be able to answer without seeing your answer. It will not affect them. And how do you make a spoiler? Well, you can simply put this slash spoiler in the chat, like this. Or you can use the... Actually, let's keep it at this. Or maybe I can give you one more alternative. You can use these code blocks or slash command to make a spoiler. Okay, and let's have our instructions. We will fill in the tables below together. We will use this verb, potential suffix, tense, and person order. We will use the EOR tense, like the present continuous tense for the tense part. And person, we will use all of the pronouns, like ben, sen, o, biz, siz, onlar. And here goes the verbs. Okay? So, you can now participate by typing your answers for each of these tables. You can paste your answer for each verb at a time. And there will be like 1 minute for each table. So this shouldn't take more than 3 minutes in total. And if you're confused, you can ask your questions. This is simply practicing how to say I can talk. Maybe I can write the verbs here next to it. Like konuşmak means to talk. İçmek means to drink. Yüzmek means to swim. So what we are doing here, we are saying like I can talk, you can talk, he, she, it can talk, we can talk, you can talk, they can talk, and also I can drink, and also I can swim. This is what we are practicing here. So let me see the answers. Tarık, your answers are technically correct, but what you did is basically conjugating the continuous tense. Like, I am talking, you are talking, he is talking. You need to say, I can talk. Yeah, the potential suffix, you forgot this. Okay, and Megan, your answers are correct. Nathan, your answers are also correct. You can now start doing the other table. And please put your answers in one message, at least for one table. So like one message, one table. This way it will be easier to follow for me. Okay, wait, no. I was almost spoiling the answers. Okay, good job, Megan. Good job, Nathan. Good job, Tarek. Good job, Danica. And good job, Nathan, for the last table. You are done. I mean, you completed. Meanwhile, I'll choose a better song for the background. Okay. Yeah, the elevator music, asansör müziği. And good job, Megan. Good job, Tarek. Good job, Danica. Okay, good job, Tarek again. You guys are finished. And our time is almost over, by the way. I'll be typing the answers. I'm sorry if you haven't had enough time to type it all, but we have to move on. Jasmine, there's a little typo. You use aorist and continuous at the same time. Okay, anyway. So, konuşmak, this means to talk. And how do you say I can talk? Konuşabiliyorum. I will use the er tense. So konuşabiliyorum. Okay. And then konuşabiliyorsun. And then konuşabiliyor. Konuşabiliyoruz. Konuşabiliyorsunuz. Konuşabiliyorlar. You can also say konuşabiliyor for this. Konuşabiliyor. It is also acceptable. Okay, and then içmek, to drink. And now what we are saying is I can drink. Ben içebiliyorum. For example, I can drink cola. Ben kola içebiliyorum. And then you can drink. İçebiliyorsun. İçebiliyor. İçebiliyoruz. İçebiliyorsunuz. İçebiliyorlar. They can drink or like they içebiliyor. Onlar içebiliyor. Both options are okay. Okay, and then yüzmek. Yüzmek means to swim. And how does I can swim? Ben yüzebiliyorum. Sen yüzebiliyorsun. O yüzebiliyor. Biz yüzebiliyoruz. Siz yüzebiliyorsunuz. Onlar yüzebiliyorlar. So now, I'm talking to beginners. If this looks scary for you, don't be scared because it's just a very consistent rule. All we are doing is using the root of the verb and then adding the abil or abil parts and then the tense parts and then the person, just the markers. So if you don't know the personal markers, you can go to the Google folder. We had a lesson on the normal tenses. So for example, let me break this down for you. Yüzebiliyorum or yüzebiliyorsun. Each of these are very consistent. You must see the pattern now. Okay? Just like this. Use, roots, ebil, potential, ior, the tense, like I can do it in the present, and sun, sen yüzebiliyorsun. Beginners bunu yapabiliyorlar. Güzel. Also, yes, I will go to the negatives in a bit. I need to show you something else before that. We did our practice. Now at least you have an idea on how it works. So let's move to this. I have this attention part for you. You need to be careful with something. And what is it? Maybe I can go before. With these verbs, they have a similar, similar characteristic. Konuşmak, içmek, yüzmek. Just ignore the makmek parts. Just take a look at the last letters. There's eş, there is ç, there is z. These are consonants. I use these examples on purpose because with verbs that end with a consonant, we only insert the abil part. But what about the other verbs? What about these other verbs that end with a vowel? In that case, we add this y suffix. So we have verb, potential, buffer, tense, person. What you are doing here is inserting is y buffer before or wait, it's in the wrong order. Let me change this. It should go here. buffer comes before the potential. Also, yeah, my connection should be nice. It should be connecting so there's no pings at least. Let me show you. Okay, how about if I mute the bots for you guys? Did it change? Did it make a difference? It's probably bots in this case. You can mute it for you. Right click on it and then go to mute. Okay. I'll continue if everything is fixed. Alright, great, no problem. So let's go back to our attention. You need to pay attention to the last letter of your verb. I'm going back again. These verbs end with consonant like konuş, şe, içmek, çe, yüzmek, ze. These end with consonants, but not all verbs end with consonants. Sometimes they may end with a vowel. And what are you going to do in this case? You are going to insert this buffer. And it's the Y. So let's have this here. Anlamak. It ends with anla. By the way, when I say ends with, I say this ignoring this part because it's infinitive. I can change the color to make this more clear. Anla, it ends with a. Dinle, it ends with e. Oku, it ends with o. I fixed these parts is correct now. Buffer should come before the potential mood. So let's do this. I will fill in this table myself. So Anna is the root. And now I need to say abil, like abiliyorum. But as you can see, there's these all together. It looks weird, it sounds weird. So that's why we are adding the Y buffer. Anlayabiliyorum. Anlayabiliyorum. Anlayabiliyorsun. Anlayabiliyor. Anlayabiliyoruz. Anlayabiliyorsunuz. Anlayabiliyorlar. Each time you are inserting this Y before the potential. And it's the same for e. Dinlemek. This means to listen to. So I can listen to. Dinleyebiliyorum. Dinleyebiliyorsun. Dinleyebiliyor. Dinleyebiliyoruz. Dinleyebiliyorsunuz. Dinleyebiliyorlar. Actually, let's keep this for later. Just have our two examples. Anlamak, dinlemek. You just need to insert the buffer. So while you are doing the conjugation, this applies to other conjugations, by the way. Always check the last letter, because conjugation changes if it ends with a vowel or with a consonant. So, this is our positive conjugations so far. We will jump into the negatives, and as I said before, it's where the fun begins. If this is clear so far, I will make one more reminder in the delights of Turkish. I can answer if there's any question. If not, I'll just talk about something very important. I will talk about this difference in the later parts, not right now. I added it into my slides. Okay, so now the delights of Turkish parts. As you can read in the title, the potential suffix abil can be used in three different contexts. And what are those? What are those contexts? What are those meanings? So the first one is ability, when you're able to do something. And the second one is possibility, when something is likely to happen, or when you are likely to do something. And request, like asking someone to do something for you. So this following sentence has three different meanings. Kapıyı açabilir misin? Kapı is a door, açmak is open, misin is the question. So it is asking a question. But what is the question? Is it, can you open the door? Could you please open the door? Or like, or is there a chance you can open the door? Like, may you open the door? The difference depends on the context. Okay, we don't know, but logically speaking, unless there's a context about it, unless someone is questioning your skills, this is possibly about a request, but technically it could mean all of this. Are you able to open it? Like, is there a chance that you may open the door? Because the possibility meaning. And then request, please. But usually when someone asks this, they are asking, can you please open it? So yeah, if like we are talking about things we can do, like maybe we are talking about your kid, they are like newborn, they are only like a few months old or maybe a few years old, then you are saying, my son can already open the door. Oğlum kapıyı açabilir. Or, I don't know if you can do it, maybe you are busy, then I'm asking you like, hey, açabilir misin? It is all about the possibility, it is all about the ability, and this distinction is unclear and it depends on the context in the positive form. Okay? That's why this is important. It has three different meanings in the positive form. When we go to the negatives, we will use three different suffixes for each of these. So far we were having them with abil only. But like açabilir misin, açabilir misin, açabilir misin. When we talk about the negative, we say, actually I will not spoil that part. And there's one more quick thing here. And it is about the request parts. So when you are making a request, you can say it with three different ways. Actually, two different ways, it depends. So you can say açar mısın directly, do you open the door, or could you open the door. It makes it just more polite. That's the only small difference. When you are studying tenses, you probably have seen the aorist being used for requests, but ability is also used for polite requests. Açabilir misin? I think that's also how it works in English. Yes, abil part makes it more polite. Like instead of like, hey, may you open the door? Like, could you please open the door? Can you open the door? So yeah, instead of saying it directly, adding this ability part makes it more polite. Anyway, so now we are going to talk about the negative parts. That's my favorite part. That's where the fun begins. Because it's very tricky. So, what should we know before we start the negative forms? We should know that potential suffix has ability, possibility, and request, and using them in negative has 3 different suffixes. So let me just put this explanation so you can read it for yourself. In the positive form, these are determined by the context. You need to look into the context. Like yapabilirim can mean I can do it or I may do it. But in negative this changes because in negative the distinction is more clear. We just have different suffixes. And what are those suffixes? They are simply those bad guys. Ama, mayabil, amayabil. Okay, I will say it one more time. Ama, mayabil, amayabil. Actually, there's a buffer here as well. Actually, no. It goes without the buffer. So, the most basic one, I cannot see something. Göremem. I cannot look. Bakamam. I cannot ask. Soramam. I cannot hear. Duyamam. I cannot want. I cannot ask. In Turkish, asking and wanting is just one verb, istemek. Sormak there's also, but it's the different sormak, like asking a question, but asking a favor is istemek. İsteyemem, I cannot ask a favor. And possibility, görmeyebilirim. I may not see it. Bakmayabilirim. I may not look. Sormayabilirim. I may not ask. Duymayabilirim. I may not hear. İstemeyebilirim. I may not want. And the last one is a combination of both of these, ability and possibility. Göremeyebilirim. I may not be able to see it. Okay, like in English there's a full sentence, but in Turkish we are putting suffixes together. Göremeyebilirim. Bakamayabilirim. I may not be able to look. Soramayabilirim. I may not be able to ask. Duyamayabilirim. I may not be able to hear. İsteyemeyebilirim. I may not be able to want. Okay? Sounds or looks scary? Probably. But now we will go over into details for each suffixes. When you actually see the suffixes separately, it looks very similar. Like, I will explain this in a bit. So, for example, let's start with this part. Ability, just ama. This part. And I wish you all a happy or good night. Let's not make this dramatic. Herkese iyi geceler. Kendinize iyi bakın. Sonra görüşürüz.